Welcome to Module 1 of AZ900, the Introduction to Azure Fundamentals. This quick video is meant to be getting started with Azure Accounts. I have a Microsoft account tied to my personal email address, and you can see it here. I have some computers linked to my account. I have a Microsoft 365 personal account where I use the Office applications online. I have the access to the 1 terabyte OneDrive, etc. I also use this account to sign into Microsoft Azure. You can see my account name is up here. I can switch accounts. I have an account for my Kutztown University email address. I have one for my Microsoft.com email address. And if I'm managing multiple tenants or companies inside Azure, I can change from one directory to the next. In this account, you can see here my Yahoo account. I'm signed in as my global admin user. Okay. The global admin user is the user that you use to create the account. Okay. So this pretty much means I have the keys to the kingdom. I can create Azure resources and delete them. I can create additional subscriptions as need be, modify all of the stuff inside those subscriptions. I can also see how much money I'm spending at any given time. Okay, so my account is tied to my subscription. Inside each subscription, I have resource groups, and a resource group is a logical container of related Azure resources. Now, if you are currently in web development, you probably heard the term container before, tied to Docker, Kubernetes, etc. Similar but different, right? In this context, think of a container as a folder in your Windows, your Linux, or your Mac environment that stores files and other folders. A container a resource group is a container in this context, meaning that it will store other Azure resources. Okay, so I don't have any resources in this demo group right now. And lastly, my my subscription is tied to my account. I create resource groups inside that account, and inside those resource groups are my all resources. Now, all resources right here is exactly what the name implies. It doesn't matter is it a VM, is it a database, is it a public IP, a VNet, a DNS zone, etc. All of my resources that I create in Azure can be found under all resources. Now, as your Azure environment gets larger, it's probably not the best way to look at, because this will just be page after page, and there won't be any semblance of order here. Right now, I'm sorted alphabetically by name, but I can sort by type. I can filter based on name, based on type, based on resource group, etc. You can see I've got items that are global in reach, others that are tied to a specific region within Azure, and we'll talk about Azure resources later. But to tie it all together, I have an email address that I use to create an Azure account. That Azure account is then used to create subscriptions. The subscriptions can be for multiple customers if you work for a managed services provider, for example, or if you work for a company that's so large that your Azure resources are divided by department, etc. Inside each subscription, I've got resource groups, which will contain all of my Azure resources. Okay, so hopefully you found this video helpful, and I will see you in the next one.